Five things that I would do if I was single again. Just saying, I'm not very married, but just 5 things that I would do. The first one is pray. Sis, pray. Brother, pray. The second one is heal. Heal. Those areas in your life, we need to heal so that we don't bring back what we had, right? The third one is clarity. We need to have clarity, right? And the way that we get clarity is by making a list. Number 4 is your circle. When you bring other people, your tribe, right? They will help you decide, and make sure your circle is people that are wise, people that love Jesus. Make sure it's the right circle. And then number 5 is confirmation. You will know. God will confirm his word to you. If not, you just ask. God confirmed this is the right person. So I was married. I came to the Lord married in 1991, on November 16th, 1991. I said a simple prayer that changed my life forever. And when I tell you changed my life forever, it really, truly did change my life forever. I was a hope to die drug addict, and I said a simple prayer. I asked Jesus into my heart, and my life was never to be the same again, okay? My life changed in that moment. Jesus did that work. But see, because I came married to the Lord, it takes two to tango. And I'm not saying that if you're married, you need to leave your spouse. No, that's not what I'm saying. My ex-husband never wanted to serve Jesus. He will come back to church and do the church thing with me and the kids every time he wanted me back. But it wasn't that he was serving God. He was out there sleeping around with that woman, the other woman, and every woman in between. And I waited 13 years, okay? A lot of dysfunction. Not sure it was all the Lord, but I did not want a divorce. I wanted my marriage to be restored. I prayed, I fasted, I waited. And it was to the point where the Lord had to remove me. So many things went on for me to know that that's the way that I had to go. It wasn't just so many years of adultery. This last woman he was with her 8 years, but it was venereal diseases, it was stealing, it was his own addiction. And then he literally ended up committing a crime, and they took me in and they took him in. And then that was the week that I finally said, okay, this is not okay. This is not okay. And you may find yourself in that place right today. And if that's you, prayer for you. If you're married and you're married to someone that's not a believer, my heart goes out to you and my prayer go out to you. And just know that God has a plan. God will see you through. If not, sis, pray, God, please. Some of my prayers were, God, save them or take them home or remove me from this situation. And he literally had to do that in my life because I would not leave. So I ended up being handcuffed in front of our children, our 2 youngest ones. And by God's grace, they let me go after 8 hours of me being in that precinct. And it was only because that particular day he happened to be home, by God's grace, that I was not charged with a crime. Because if I would have been charged, I would have lost the ability to take care of our children. And we have 4 children, so God's grace. But going back to what would I do if I was single all over again, and I was on my own for 8 years, and then I've been married by God's grace 16 years. 16 beautiful years. Not easy years. Just know that being married is hard. Being single is hard. It's all hard. But God in us sees us through, and there is obviously better moments than the not so good. And that's the life of a believer. Let's not kid ourselves. If you are single and you think the answer is Jesus and a man or a woman, that's not the answer. The answer is Jesus, the hope of glory, and him alone. Just pray, God, what stage do you want me to stay in? Where do you want me to stay? Do you want me to be married? I have very close friends, really good friends that are single, have been single, and they want to be married. Most of them want to be married, but that's not the answer. The answer truly is Jesus, and they have found themselves to live a good Christian full life as a single woman, as a single man. I have both. I have men and women that I've known for as long as I've been saved, and they are still single. So just know that you can find joy in the midst of your singleness. But if I was starting all over again, the first thing that I would do is I would pray. We need prayer. Prayer is what changes the hand of God, and sometimes the mind of God. We can. That's how much influence our prayers have. Remember, I always think of him. Why didn't I look it up? I'm not sure. But remember the guy that the Lord gave him years, where the prophet came and said, you're going to die. And the Lord gave him favor, and the Lord, I think, gave him another 15 years. So the hand of God can be changed through prayer. That's what that lesson teaches us. It's so important that you and I seek God for that person, because that person is going to affect the rest of our lives. Like when you are with the right spouse, you can have heaven on earth, or you can really, if it's the wrong person, you can have hell on earth. So make sure that you prayerfully consider who it is that you're seeking to get married to. Make sure that you start praying now. Make sure you start really asking God, really, do you want this for me, right? Is this what you want for me? There's plenty of people that the Lord said for them to stay single. So just seek the Lord and ask God to show you whether he wants you to be single or not. The second thing that I would do is I would heal. That's really what helped me to pick the right person. Healing is a choice. And healing can look like therapy. Healing can look like a support group. For me, I spent many years in Celebrate Recovery looking for God to do that work in my life. I struggled with codependency, and I needed the Lord to step in, and I needed the Lord to do the work that only he could do in my life. And that came through years of sitting in those rooms in Celebrate Recovery, years upon years of allowing God to show me the way and heal me in the deepest areas of my life. I needed a lot of healing because I kept on choosing the same type of guy, just with a different name, right? A different face, but the same type of character. And it's because I did not value me. I did not value me. I was sexually abused from a very young age, and I did not value me. I did not feel that I was worthy of attracting the right person into my life, and I had to heal. I had to go back to those areas in my life where God needed to show me, this is why you don't value Glennis, my child, the apple of my eyes, the one that's truly precious in my sight. This is why. And he had to break it down and really show me why. And after years of being in those rooms, eventually I let the recovery ministry really help me just to be able to see so many people in those rooms and be able to see myself in the lives of those people and saying the things that maybe perhaps I could not say or put into words. And God took me through this journey, a very uncomfortable journey, but a journey that on the other side of it, I was secure in my identity in Christ. Okay, the number 3, the third thing that I did that I would highly recommend is get clear. The way that I was able to get clear is I got clear in writing, right? I got a journal and I said, okay, and this is what I read to my husband, Corey, on our wedding day. The Lord placed in my heart to do a journal, and I started adding things. I want someone that is called into the ministry. I want someone that has never been married, because my ex-husband, Lord knows, he was plenty of drama. I did not want an ex-spouse. I did not want anyone with any children, because I have 4. I had a gang. I did not want that. I wanted someone that worked and brought finances home, because my ex-husband was in his addiction. Not that he was any different than me. It's just that I got saved. I became a Christian. He did not. So my life was changed. His was not. It was not that I'm not putting down my ex-husband. On the contrary, he's the father of our children. I honor him. I pray for him. We're friends today. I have absolutely nothing but good prayers for him as far as our relationship with him. But he was not a Christian, and therefore he acted. When I finally understood Christians are gonna act hopefully as believers, but unbelievers are gonna act like the world, then I did not take it personal. That what he was doing to me was him doing something to me. He didn't know any better. The enemy had him blind. And today, he would say, I remember a very funny thing that happened. My husband today, Corey, he insisted for us to go on vacation with my ex-husband when we first got married and take the children to go see their dad. And it was like, because we lived in Florida and he lived back then he lived in TJ. He lived in Mexico. He didn't live in Playa yet, and he insisted on us going to Cancun to go see the kid's dad. And I was like, you just don't understand, my ex-husband. It's not gonna be good. But anyway, the first words that my ex-husband told my new husband is, Corey, can you believe it? I left this woman, this beautiful woman, my 4 beautiful children. What was I thinking to leave them? And I was like, oh my gosh, my husband's gonna hit this man. He's like, I left my wife. She's so beautiful. Look at my kids. And I didn't know what to do. I kept on, Lord, take me home right now. But my husband's such a godly man. He said, he just laughed and didn't hear, I think, or didn't see what I saw or heard. But yeah, that's what my ex-husband said. So through that list, through journaling, I will add things constantly to that list. And I still have that list. Lord, if you ever bring a man, because I used to think I'm not going to be married. I'm not going to get remarried. But so my prayer was, Lord, if you bring a man into my life, this is what I want. This is what I want. And this is how I knew that my husband was going to be my husband, because the things that I have written on that list, he had that and more. And I learned that from my daughter's husband, who was a teen when he taught me that lesson. He wanted to date our daughter, and he taught me that lesson. And I started journaling about the qualities I wanted in a godly man. And that's a video for another day. But The fourth thing that I would do is I would have a support group. Because of so much brokenness in my life, I didn't know how to pick the right person. But my support group in Celebrate Recovery, those women that were in those rooms with me, I was the leader, but those women, I was very close to them, and they were really godly women in those rooms. I was able to share with them, hey, what do you guys think about this guy, Corey? Because we all went to the same church. Corey was my Sunday school teacher. He had never been married. He had no children. And I remember one of the leaders for Celebrate Recovery that was under me, she said, listen, if you don't date him, I will date him. Okay, that was Natalie, my friend. And she was like, yeah, he's a really, really God man. He's a good man. And my sponsor, Cheryl, and so many women that were strong believers, they told me he's a God man. He's a good man. So your circle means everything. That bouncing it back, right? And then it leads me right into the fifth one, is confirmation. Ask God to confirm that this is the man. That this is the man that truly you're supposed to date. The Lord confirmed that to me in my spirit. The way that Corey and I started dating, I didn't even know I liked him. And we went on a trip as the singles. We went a few hours away. We went camping for the weekend with the group. It was 30 something of us, and I got really sick that weekend, and I was sick. He was the leader of the Sunday school, and he was driving me back. Somebody else was driving my vehicle, and during that conversation, him and I just alone, he was driving me home because I got medicine. I broke out into what they thought was poison ivy. It was really bad. I had a rash all over my body. And because I had this rash, they gave me medicine. I could not drive back. And as I'm driving back with Corey, I'm asking him, just making conversation, and he's answering all the things that I have on that list. I started asking him, so have you ever been married? No. He said, no, I have never been married. I'm like, but why? When we got married, he was 41, and he was like, well, because you know, there's been women in the church that have liked me, but I'm not good with stuff like that. Like, I found out they liked me after they left the church, or I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, who says that? So anyway, the Lord, through that conversation, was able to just show me that this is the man that I was going to get married. But eventually we were in counseling as a family. We were in counseling, and some things have happened with our oldest son, and the pastor that was counseling me and the therapist, they told me, find a man in the church that actually would take your son under his wing. Pray and fast and ask a man in the church. And I was able to go to Corey when I was coming out of counseling, out of the pastor's office, who told me that. I ran right into Corey and I said, hey, can you pray and fast maybe, and I will do the same, so that I'm thinking that maybe you want to mentor our son, and maybe you want to mentor my son, because I was single. And he's like, no, I don't have to pray. I've been praying and fasting, and I would love to. And the day that he was supposed to, he planned out this trip with my son, our oldest now, and he was supposed to take him out on a Monday morning, and our son would not open the door to him. He's like, nope, I don't know that guy. I'm not going anywhere with that guy. And Corey had taken the day off to spend the day with our son. So when that did not happen, he called me at work because he kept on banging the door and our son would not answer. Anyway, he asked me out to lunch, and it had been about 2 months since that incident where he was driving me back from that camping trip. So I knew for about 2 months that he's supposed to be the man I'm supposed to get married to. And I did not reach out to him. I did not say anything to him. I just prayed. I fasted. I thought, if he's supposed to be the leader of our home, he needs to follow the lead and he needs to ask me out. So that day, after 2 months, finally he asked me out. And when we went to the restaurant, he asked me where I wanted to go eat. And I said, I want to go to this Dominican restaurant. And when we went to that Dominican restaurant, our pastor that was over the ministry was at this Dominican restaurant. And it was crazy because this pastor was an American eating at a Dominican restaurant. And he just assumed that we were a couple. And he was like, oh, you guys look so cute together. And I just felt that it was confirmation. So when you pray, ask God to confirm his choosing. If you believe this is the man, this is the woman I'm supposed to date. I was very clear with my husband. I will not date anybody that I'm not willing to get married to. So if you just want to go out and have a good time, that is not me. And that is totally a video for another day. That's not me. I said, I will not kiss you. I will not be like all like this with you. Definitely will not sleep with you. None of that, because I am a child of the living God. And to me, although I have 4 children, I was a virgin again to me, because I was already sacred to the Lord and I was going to wait for marriage. And I told him, I am not going to be making out with this guy. No, on my wedding day, that's the day. And I will not date anyone I will not get married to.